part of the Aeon Empire. It was both the capital of the kingdom and the empire, the mother of cities. Once, with its lakes, rivers, and fertile lands, it was the center of life. Now it trembled like a withered leaf under the shadow of metallic dust. Les Sachons was made of 7 great cities. At the very center stood the capital, Pax Valor. It still looked like a fortress of grace and power, but its foundations were cracking. Under the 3 suns, white stone palaces sparkled, yet in their shadows, intrigues grew darker. In the squares, merchants cried out. In the alleys, imperial guards patrolled in silence, but behind the walls, whispers spread. The emperor is sick. Is it the heat? Val Maraxas reached Pax Valor after a 3-day journey. He had spent the night in an abandoned watchtower. At dawn, he set off again. His horse was weary, but he did not stop. When he passed under the Victory Monument, his armor was covered in dust. At the Silver Inn, he changed clothes and looked in the mirror. The reflection staring back at him was older than the man he knew. The XR headquarters of Pax Valor lay hidden beneath the Temple of Zorath. Passing through the bronze gates, his eyes fell on 3 figures carved into the walls. The golden-haired woman, the warrior with a spear, the silver sage with a staff, the 3 faces of Trisolaris. But now the people no longer prayed to them. They demanded answers. As a boy, Val had once played in these corridors. Back then, he listened to the priests speak of the voices beyond the mire. Now the only echo was his own footsteps. He followed the stone passages. When he opened the heavy door, there was only one figure inside, his closest friend, Prince Karl Justicar. Karl carried a quiet, commanding charisma. He was of medium height, athletic. His face was sharply defined, high cheekbones, a strong jaw. Dark hair fell loosely to his neck, his deep brown eyes filled with hidden mystery. A black cloak draped over embroidered garments. Val stepped inside. Karl stood over a vast map, lost in thought. A quill hovered in his hand, his eyes wandering paths of a hazy future. Then he noticed his old friend.
At last you're here, old friend. The road has worn you down, but you came in time. Sit. We must talk.
Before sitting, Val handed him a sealed parchment.
Master Clen asked me to deliver this to you.
Karl broke the seal and read quickly, his brow furrowed. Was it disappointment or confirmation of a fear?
Enemies reported in the north, in the Talaris Valley. My father orders us to track them. But Val, this is false. They want us drawn north. The true threat is here.
A long exchange followed. Karl spoke of his father's failing judgment, of poisoned orders.
Loyalty is sometimes disobedience, doing what is right, even if it means standing against those you love.
Val was torn between loyalty and friendship, but Karl's words weighed heavy. At last, Val bowed his head in silence.
Convincing you was the hardest part. The others will follow us no matter what.
And in that moment, within Val Maraxas, the line of loyalty cracked. In the gardens of the imperial palace of Pax Valor, the sun cast its final light upon the limestone walls. On silver-inlaid cedars sat Emperor Velus and Empress Arosa, sipping sherbet in silence. All seemed peaceful. Yet that moment was the beginning of an end.
This season, the sherbet's color should be darker,
she said softly.
Perhaps they added too many of the purple fruits from the garden.
He took a sip. A faint curve touched his lips. Then his face twisted. The cup slipped from his hand, shattering on the grass. Glass shards glimmered. Velus collapsed. His pupils rolled back. white foam spilling from his lips. Even the flowers seemed to wither in that instant. Arosa leapt up, but she did not scream. Her eyes narrowed, her voice steady.
Guards, the Emperor has taken ill. Fetch the healers at once. And
She paused, her gaze hardened.
send word to King Cassian. Summon the High Chancellor.
That night, in the back chamber of the Royal Archive, only 3 figures gathered under candlelight. Windows were veiled by heavy curtains. The air smelled of dry ink, wax, and old parchment. High Chancellor Zemor held 2 documents, the Emperor's last health report and a writ of proxy. Arosa tapped the table with her fingertips.
Are the traces of poison clear?
Yes, but only if one looks closely. The spinal flower is rare. It breaks the body slowly, leaves no mark. At first, paralysis.
Cassian stood by the window, staring outside, his face calm, unreadable.
A pity for Veles, but the people need a strong hand. What story shall we tell?
Zemor shuffled the parchments.
A sudden collapse. The sherbet's unexpected effect. That is what the healers will say.
Arosa turned toward Cassian.
Will the Council of Kings support naming you regent?
They are ready. Most already wished for Veles to step aside. They will gather around me.
Zemor placed the parchments neatly on the table.
The truth of poison must never leave this room. The regency will be presented as a matter of health. As for the throne, its time will come.
Arosa rose to her feet, one hand resting on the table.
And when that time comes, we will be ready.
Call was 26 years old. He walked slowly through the long corridors of Paxvalor's royal palace. Not only a prince, he was also High Justice of the Empire. The flicker of candles cast shifting shadows on the stone walls. The reflection of the 3 suns slid across his shoulders. Each step echoed against the cold stone beneath his feet. This city, this palace, these people, all carried the bittersweet weight of memory. At the end of the corridor, his gaze caught a portrait. The familiar face pulled his mind back 13 years. 13 years ago.
Your mother is dead, Call.
2 words shattered his young heart. His laughter, his cheer, vanished in an instant. Whispers spread through the palace. His mother had taken her own life. But soon, darker rumors followed. A secret affair with a northern lord, his father, Cassian Justixar. Learning of the betrayal, his fury. Call was too young to understand the truth, but the weight of it crushed him. Her death changed more than Call. It hardened his father. The man who once smiled at him, embraced him, was gone. Day by day, Cassian grew colder, stricter.
Tomorrow, you join the XI.
Father, I don't want to be a soldier or an agent. I want to study at the High Academy. I want to be a scholar.
Number, you will be everything. A prince must be everything.
Within the stone walls of the XI intelligence, loneliness was Call's only companion. Cold dormitories, harsh punishments, observation drills, poison analysis, lessons in disguise, interrogation scenarios, weapons training. Each one shaped him less into a prince and more into a shadow. But in that darkness, he found a new family. Val Maraxas, Zorak, Mira, Tech, Eli, Brax, and others. They became the light against his solitude.
What of these friends of yours? Mira, Zorak, Tech. What do they do?
They are young but gifted. Val stood by me. And you saved them from misery. You brought them into the Xi. Why be angry now that they are my friends?
You are heir to the throne, Call. They are not your equals. They are beneath you. Every bond that lowers a prince to companionship is a chain. Anyone who enters your life without my approval, I will doubt, especially those whose loyalty is untested.
They are loyal to me.
Then their loyalty is misplaced. Loyalty belongs to the crown, to the ruler, not to the prince.
And in that moment, Call saw it clearly. His father was not preparing him for the throne. He was shaping his own shadow. As he walked, Call's eyes fell again on a portrait. It pulled him back to when he was 16, after XI training during his academy years. He remembered standing there, staring through the garden. For the first time, he saw her. By the chief architect's side stood a girl whose eyes sparkled with laughter. Aaliyah.
She might be the most beautiful thing I've ever seen.
The architect had shaped her like a masterpiece, but Aaliyah became his greatest sorrow, a dream that ended too soon, a memory buried in the labyrinth of the past. Call blinked, and the visions faded. The shadows of memory slipped from the palace walls. He returned to the present.
Betrayal always comes from the closest hand, and at the moment least expected.